Hello. Today we're going to continue from what we discussed in the previous video, which was Lesson 1, Part 1 on Microsoft Word 2010. We're going further now, and we're going to start out discussing entering text. Microsoft Word is very useful in that as you're entering text, it automatically does what's called a word wrap. So bear with me as I type this in and you can follow along. Many of you have experienced word wrap before and it's not uncommon for you. But you know, you can also turn off word wrap if you wanted to. It's not something that is commonly done, but it is a possibility and something for you to keep in mind as you work more with Microsoft Office. Excuse me for a brief moment while I type this. And the different size font will change what words, also even the different styles. Now there you go. As you can see, and I apologize for the delay there, as I got to the end of bike and I can start typing in trail, it immediately dropped down to the next line. That's considered word wrap. A major tool with Microsoft Word. It's in a lot of your word processing programs anymore, but something to keep in mind when someone's talking about word wrap. This is what they're discussing. Second, we want to talk about displaying formatting marks. And if you look up here, right here is your paragraph. And if, as I hover over it, I can see how I can use the shortcut, which is the Control plus the star or asterisk key, which is above the 8. So I do Control Shift 8 to get that to activate. Or I can click here, either one. Now that'll tell me the end of the paragraph. And as I go through, and especially when I'm doing a research paper, that can be really helpful to notice, hey, there's the end of a paragraph. Inserting a blank line, that's another tool that you want to be able to do. And basically, if you just hit enter, then it tends to skip down. We talked about the word wrap already, but as you type in, the word wrap continues. As many of you noticed, as I was typing along, I would misspell a word. What would happen? Well, as I would misspell a word, it would indicate. So let me show again. If I misspell Trustday, and then I hit space, it tells me that I've misspelled the word. That's what the wavy red lines indicate. By right-clicking on that, it can tell me to correct it. Or I can set up autocorrect. But I'm just going to first use correct. The autocorrect is a very useful tool, but you have to be careful. Sometimes you want it to be misspelled for various reasons. Maybe I'm having people work on their spelling and I want them to notice when a word's misspelled. If I had it on autocorrect, that would be a problem. Same point with sometimes abbreviations. They're intended to be, they're abbreviations. They're intended to be spelled that way, but autocorrect may see it as incorrect and try to correct the spelling and add it and make it a full word or a correct word. So that can be very frustrating. So if need be, you can turn off the autocorrect. And again, you would go File, Options, Proofing, and there in Proofing, you would be able to find the autocorrect options right here. And from there, you could go in there, add words that you want corrected, remove words that have been corrected, and change the settings. So keep that in mind that again is File, Options, Proofing, Autocorrect Options. Another good test question. Now, We've talked about entering more text. Let's say up here I realize well-behaved dog, and I want to add something else to it. First, I'm going to remove this paragraph just so that it's easier to see what I'm talking about. Maybe I want to say well-behaved large dog. Now, that's called text insert. And again, using my insert icon, I can move it anywhere I need to, and then I can add text. Same point, maybe I want to take out morning. Again, I could just highlight that word and then delete. So you can add and remove information that way. Now, we're going to move on and start discussing navigating a document. It's hard to do that right now with a small document like this. If I had several paragraphs, I'd find it much more useful. But let's start out with the simple things, such as using the arrows to the right and left to move the icon. Also, if I hold down the control button and I hit the right arrow, it jumps by the word. Okay? Now, again, if I hold down the control button and I hit the left arrow, it continues to jump by the word. But if I hit the end button, it goes to the end of the sentence. If I hit the home button, it goes at the beginning of the sentence. If I do Control N, it moves to the end of the document. And again, Control Home takes me back up to the top. All of those would be great test questions, so make sure you pay close attention to that. Okay, we're going to pause there, and I want to have a handout for y'all to work with on making those changes. Be prepared to raise your hand and demonstrate that you understand those concepts to the instructor when asked. Thank you.